Okay. We are live.
Okay. I have to say, yeah, standing. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Loise.
Hi, Sabrina. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I am well. I'm excited.
Awesome. Thank you so much for making time for this interview today.
Of course.
It's a very special topic, I think, for many women. I was just telling you before we started that I got a lot of messages when I put it out there that we are going to talk about endometriosis and the impact. And of course, the overarching topic is really how can we be leaders in our life in relation to reproductive health? Because that's, of course, also like something that shapes how we feel about ourselves and how our life goes very much. So I'm quite excited to hear your perspective about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So let me jump right into it.
Yeah.
Could you explain in a few words what endometriosis is really all about?
Yeah. So basically, endometriosis is when the lining of the uterus grows outside of the uterus. So that would be in the fallopian tubes, in the ovaries,
yes,
maybe somewhere behind the uterus. It could go to the cervix. It could go basically really anywhere in the body.
Okay.
So people have it growing it in their lungs, others in their belly button. So I mean, it's basically the uterus lining growing outside of the uterus.
And not where it originally is meant to
Should
grow.
Be, yeah, it's meant just to be in the uterus, not outside, not, So.
And what is the impact for those women who have endo?
Wow, yeah, that is like, for me, if I can speak from my own experience, a life of pain.
Okay.
Basically, when that's time of the month, the cycle, when you're having a period. So while the uterus lining is shedding, in the uterus, it's also shedding where it's grown outside. So that means your blood is, you're shedding blood. So let's say, for example, it's on the ovary, it's called endometrium. Basically, that's the tissue that grows outside. It's also shedding. So what happens for women like us, we tend to experience a lot of pain because the blood has nowhere to go, you know, like in the uterus, it goes outside, but so if it's growing on the ovary, it's just within the ovary. So every month you have that going on. So the impact is that you have inflammation, basically, because the blood has nowhere to drain. So you get inflammation, and based on the inflammation, you get pain. Okay. So, and in my case, where my organs are also like trying to stick together, because at some point the blood becomes a bit more like gooey, sticky, so the organs are like sort of sticking together, and that causes inflammation. So basically, you're in pain because of inflammation, and yeah, some women who have endometriosis tend to experience extreme pain during that cycle. So yeah, it's a lot of pain. I would associate endometriosis with a lot of pain.
Yeah. So that's quite intense, what I hear you say. And I remember there was this Kenyan artist when we were still living together in Kenya who had it on her lungs and who had like regular lung collapses and kept being rushed to hospital.
Yeah.
So that means it can have like severe impact also on your health generally.
Oh, it does have severe impact on health. For example, like her case, lung collapse. The lungs are not supposed to have a lot of fluid in it. And as I said, if you're having those tissues in your lungs, that basically means every month when she had her cycle, her uterus shed, but also the lining also shed there. Then there's all this fluid stuck up in her lungs. So for me, I would say it does have a significant impact. I basically know like since I was 16, I just lived with pain. And everybody keeps saying, it's just period pain. It's normal. Just take a painkiller and it's normal. But you somehow know this cannot be normal. Wait, I'm not sleeping at night. I'm up throwing up. The cramps, even after taking a normal painkiller, you're still in pain. I couldn't do normal things that people do. So like going to work, focusing, or maybe playing sports when I'm on my cycle because I'm in pain. So it does really affect your quality of life and also your reproductive health. Pain is not normal. That sort of pain is not normal.
That's already an important message, because I think there's still this misconception that many people have that somehow experiencing pain during a menstrual cycle is okay and is normal, and we sort of have to live with it as women.
Yeah.
But what you are saying now is that it might actually be a sign of a very severe condition.
Yeah, it could be. In my case, it was endometriosis, and the doctor had also said I had some parts of adenomyosis. So endometriosis and adenomyosis mimic each other in terms of symptoms.
Yes.
One baseline is that we all tend to have extreme cramps, extreme pain. So, and with endometriosis, the only way you can be able to know that you actually have it is through a laparoscopy. With adenomyosis, it's the one that is in the muscle. So that's kind of hard for the doctors also to pinpoint that I for sure have this. So yeah, it's pain. Pain is not normal. Period pain is not normal. Let's not normalize it. It's not normal. If your child comes to you or anyone is experiencing pain and you go to a gyna, they tell you, that's normal. Please look for another gyna. You look for somebody who's listening and actually hearing what you're saying, and they want to help you not to have this pain. So yeah, let's not normalize period pain. There's nothing normal about it.
Yeah. That's such a powerful statement. And I hear you say something else as well, which is quite shocking, that actually you might go to a doctor, a gyna who might be a specialist, but they might not actually be able to understand what you are suffering from. Is that?
Exactly. Yeah. I've had that situation. Yeah. They say that, it's normal. It's normal for women to experience cramps. Yeah. It may be normal for other people, but I'm telling you, these cramps are not, they're intense. It's the minute you have pain that makes you not to do any normal thing that you in your regular routine are able to do, there's nothing normal about it.
Yeah.
So you need to look for a doctor who hears you and who is there to help you. You feel like they're actually taking you seriously and not dismissing you. So,
yeah. Okay.
I think it would have been better if I was not dismissed. If when I went to see a doctor, and also people not saying that you're pretending. That she's always pretending, every month, when I was in high school, when you go and tell the school nurse, I'm really, really having bad cramps. I not only need a painkiller, but I really need to lie down. So I need a bed, I need to lie down, I can attend classes. So you easily get dismissed, she's just wanting to skip classes. No. Yeah. Even when I'm sitting there, I'm not focusing because I'm feeling so nauseated. I want to throw up. I'm in pain. I can't sit quite still. You've seen me when I was in pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can pretend that is normal pain. So, yeah. We need people to support and not say that people are pretending and they say they're actually having cramps. Even when I never used to be able to come to work because I called you and I'm like, you're my manager. I won't be able to come to work today, but I'll come in tomorrow because you just need that. Feel like you just want to lie down because you're in pain.
So what I hear you say is, on the one hand, as women, we often don't know that there's this myth we just talked about the pain, level of pain that we should endure, so to speak, as women during menstrual cycle, which is absolutely not true. So you're saying get a doctor who listens to you. That might mean that we have to have the courage to go to several doctors and just try out and talk about what we are experiencing.
Yeah, it's your reproductive health. You speak for yourself. If you find somebody who's telling you you're lying and you're not, then clearly that's not the doctor for you. Just look for the next one. Don't stick to someone who is not there to help you. They're just there to put you down, to shut your voice, or to tell you that you're not okay. There's nothing okay about period pain.
And the next thing is really also for those around us to understand that, yes, it is a myth and no one is pretending when they say that they have severe pain. And it's not a reason they are looking for just to skip school or skip work, they are just lazy. I've heard several of such stories, such comments in the past about women with menstrual pain. So it's more like understanding that there's a real cause for it. It's not just something women make up.
Yeah, and why are we being told as women we should take in pain? Why?
Yeah.
There's nothing normal about it. A man of the same age will not be like, oh yeah, I'm a man, I should just take pain. As we know, not very many men are able to actually take in pain the way women
this
are.
High level.
So, yeah. So why are we saying that as girls, pain should be a normal part of our lives? No, it shouldn't be. There's nothing normal about it. So we should do something about it. Yeah. Teenage girls should know if they're feeling something is off, clearly something is off. So just go get checked. And if you feel like you're being dismissed, look for another avenue to get checked. Yeah.
And why do you think there's this myth around women and pain, and they should suck up and they are just pretending, and all this, like this dismissive thoughts about the issues that women and their reproductive health experience?
It's very interesting. Yeah. Why is there that stigma? I don't know. Maybe because we are supposed to be people who nurture others. We are people who bring childbearing. So I don't know if they think it's preparing us for childbearing, that it's a painful journey. So when we start experiencing pain nowadays, it's normal. That doesn't even compare to childbirth. But that's just, honestly, that's just bullshit. I can say that.
Yes.
No, pain is just pain. Why is it that when you have stomach pains or you have a headache, it's like, you really have a headache? Yeah, what could that be? Yeah, let's have a look at that. But when you say you have period pain, no one even wants to take it seriously. Why? Why is there like a difference? A headache, we might treat a headache, but period pain, you can just, pop a painkiller, maybe not, just suck it up. So just, yeah. When somebody says they have migraines, they're taken maybe more seriously than somebody says, really, I can't work today. It's quite intense. You're like, you've had that. So I think it's maybe society. It's something through our socialization process. Maybe we've been told that pain is normal, or for girls, we should maybe handle pain differently from somebody else, a boy or anything. So I think we just need to break all those, be it cultural, be it social. We just need to break it down. Pain is just pain, and if you're in pain, please get checked or find a doctor that actually listens to you.
And how is that for you? Because from your journey, it took quite a while until you were finally diagnosed. Yeah. So when you were presented with that diagnosis, how did you feel?
I think it's a sense of relief.
Yeah.
You're not going crazy all over those years.
Yes.
Was indeed something seriously wrong. And let me add that endometriosis diagnosis can take up to 8 years for someone to be diagnosed with endometriosis. This is how serious we are not taking this issue seriously when a woman comes to a doctor and says that they're actually in pain. So the diagnosis takes between 8 to 10 years. Mine was what, 16 or so years? Diagnosed when I was what, 28, around that. So since I was 16, I've lived with all that pain. Since I was, So basically, sorry, I have to rectify that. That was the second diagnosis. I was actually diagnosed when I was 20 or 20 and 23. I finally found a doctor who actually told my mother that I do suffer for endometriosis, and if as a form of treatment, there was many people tend to have like a hormone. No, is it a hormone? What can I say? I'm not quite sure what's the correct word, but you get an injection where it eases the discomfort you feel, but it sort of like alters the normal functioning of your uterus. So you can either get a progesterone shot, or you can get any shot that basically can either induce menopause or just put a small pause to your system. So like the endometriosis doesn't continue growing. So it just sort of like tries to stop it. But all these treatments are very aggressive. So this doctor had mentioned to my mom I actually have endometriosis and that I will need this medicine. Then my mom went to buy this medicine, and the pharmacist, this is a very bizarre story, ended up telling my mother that I should not get this medicine because, you're messing up with your child and it's gonna have an impact with her later on trying to get a baby. So this is a doctor diagnosing me, giving a prescription for me to get this medicine to sort of alleviate and start the treatment process of endometriosis and to manage it. And this pharmacist ended up convincing my mom, it's just bizarre story, how I shouldn't get it because it's gonna affect my child's rearing or bearing years. So I never got the treatment, which is quite sad. But it got to a point where I was like, no, I'm tired of living with this thing. So it's either the uterus gotta go or something has to give. I cannot live like this. And everybody keeps saying, oh, it will get better. Yeah, even in menopause, things get no. You can't live with pain from 16 years and now it's 20, 27. I'm like, no, it's gotta stop.
Yeah.
So when I went, and the only sure way, as I said, to diagnosis was through a laparoscopy surgery. Got that done, and they really confirmed what I had. And then from there, I started the management of endometriosis. So there's really no cure for endometriosis, but we manage. You can manage it and be able to live, let's say, a more comfortable form of life. Let's say the truth is some of these medicines are not comfortable. Mine induced temporary menopause, and oh boy, I'll never do that again. I am so sure that will never happen. So every treatment is different, but then again, if the treatment doesn't work for you, there is a way to change the treatment option. So as I said, I was meant to get the treatment was on between when I was 20 to 23, but that never happened. So I ended up getting it later in life. It really did help manage the symptoms, and was able to live, let's say, sort of a better quality of life, but still endometriosis is still there. So
yeah,
you can say it's sort of like a lifelong condition that many women have to live with.
Wow, and I feel my chest tightening imagining how the treatment could have been much earlier, but again, because of those myths and the misconception about what women should be experiencing, actually barred you from getting your treatment in earlier, and you lived like several more years with the same severe pain and the condition. That's just, how were you able to move past those emotions? Because I can imagine you feel anger, you feel frustration, you feel like mistreated and misunderstood on such a high level. Like, how did you deal with that?
So later on, when I was going to do the laparoscopy, so I told my mom, actually, remember there's a time I went to see a guy now when it was like 2022 and was meant to get something.
Yeah.
So what happened with that story? I'm really curious, because at the time I didn't know what the file had read. In Kenya, it's quite bizarre that you are not supposed to see your own file. So the doctor diagnoses you, writes whatever they're writing, they don't communicate it to you.
Okay.
So the doctor didn't communicate it to me, and I was like, yeah. Anyway, that's a bad doctor. You should not go to a doctor who you share whatever is going on. They're writing notes and they're not telling you what is actually going on. So I asked my mom, because you see, I'm going to do this surgery. I'm really curious. What did that doctor find out, or what did he say about the painful periods I had? So my mom goes, she was still working for Kenyatta Hospital. So she went and got my file and read, and then that's when she saw. She said, "Yeah, no, I remember. I was meant to buy you that drug, and then I went to get it, and it was told that it's gonna affect your childbearing years." Later on in life, coming to your story of emotions and how it processed all. First, before I went to the surgery, I was so pissed. I was telling my mom, "Why would you listen to a pharmacist? You're supposed to dispense the medicine how the doctor has written it, not to give you advice on how you should do it." It was not even that person's decision. It was my decision.
You're right. Yes.
Whether I want to do it or not.
Yeah.
So later on, yes, coming back to the story, how that affected me emotionally. I later on, after suffering in pain for that long, I was considered to be the percentile where women are infertile. infertility because of endometriosis. So if I had managed it earlier on, I wouldn't have had the struggles I had to conceive my son. So at some point I was like, this is very interesting. So if we had caught this ahead, I wouldn't be struggling and needing in vitro fertilization for me to be able to conceive a very nice Leo. So at some point I was really pissed because also in vitro fertilization is quite
an intense process. Yes, it's not a joke.
Yeah, it's emotionally, physically, and so it got me thinking. I mean, I was mostly pissed, I would say.
Yeah.
mostly pissed. But the thing that I think helped me get through it is also I discussed it with my mom. Like, you see, if I had attacked or managed the condition, then probably I wouldn't be here struggling for this many years because I really wanted to get a baby. So because of the endometriosis, I ended up being considered to be infertile. So I would say how I processed the emotions, I could just see how sorry my mom was and how she really, really felt like that decision really had a significant impact with me later on in life. And the thing that I love about it, they were not only supportive, but I noticed she was also talking more about it with my cousins, with my nephews and nieces, and advising even my cousin just the other day, like, oh wait, so make sure that if your daughter ever says she has a bit of period pain or whatever form of period pain, please listen to her and go get her a good doctor and make sure that doesn't go unnoticed because I did a mistake with me, she said, with Loise, and I could see how we could have caught it and managed it earlier, and then she wouldn't have had these issues, severe issues that she suffered later on. So emotionally, it was a
roller coaster.
But above all, I think I needed to accept it was what it was. It was a mistake. We could have caught it early, and now it's talking more about it and just making sure that as a mother, as a parent, as a sister, as a brother, if anyone ever tells you they have period pain, encourage them to go get checked. You should not normalize it like, that's normal. Yeah, my sister had it and that's normal. No, there's nothing normal about it. So even my brothers are very aware. I remember when they had their girlfriends used to ask, oh, Judy has period pain. What can I do? Is there anything? So people are more aware. I would say people who are close to me are more aware based on the experience I went through. So in some sense, the anger turned into acceptance, then it turned into, I think, just speaking more about it and maybe not being bitter about it, but just help other people because mine was really caught too late. And then, in the end, I mean, it's not to say that just because you have endometriosis, you'll never have a baby. That's not true. For some of us, it's ended up turning to be a more positive thing. So in the end, we will get there, but the journey is a bit long, and it doesn't have to be. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be that long. It doesn't have to be a painful journey. We can always catch things early and do something about it. Manage the pain, seek treatment, and
What would be your top tips in like when a woman is diagnosed with endo, like how would she best fare managing the condition? Do you have some things that you say, those really help me?
That's a very good question. First, so you've been diagnosed. You have, so I would say get a good diagnosis. So first you've been diagnosed. So I would say there's so much advice that we really do get as a person who has endometriosis. I would say you also do your own research. Not all doctors are well versed with endometriosis, but all treatment options are let's say the best. You can do your own research. Read a bit more. If a doctor recommends a drug, please ask them what are the side effects, what are the positivity, because most doctors will honestly just speak about the positive side and will not go into detail about their side effects. And for some people, the side effects might be mind-blowing.
Okay.
For example, there's a medicine that you can get, I think it's called Lupron. It's the one I think I had. it induces temporary menopause, but at the same time, it affects your bone density. So most people who, after using it for a long time, tend to have weak knees, or they break, you can easily break your bones. So if you fall down and trip, you can break your leg and hands and all. So I think you as a patient, or you as a person suffering with endometriosis, please do your research. Read a bit more, because there are many other treatment options that have come up now that were not there before, that are more kinder to your body, have less adverse side effects. So maybe just do your research a bit more, and be an advocate of your own health. Don't be willing to take everything that the doctor says. You also can say, let me do my research, let me think about it, and I'll come back to you. So do your research, and then see what side effects or what medicine you might be willing to try. And if you experience any adverse side effects, please do tell your doctor. You can discontinue the treatment option that you get. It can always be discontinued. So don't be content this is the only way.
Yeah.
Then secondly, I would say you should try it. Be intuitive, or be careful what you put in your own body. So try and eat all the right foods, the veggies, lots of veggies. Green stuff, all that stuff. So be more mindful what you're putting into your body, and you will eventually start seeing that the endometriosis side effects are milder. The effects of exercise, that one I will not even, that is a person to person basis. Some people say when they're on their periods, when they exercise, they feel better. Oh, mine, no. Mine used to make me feel, I'm already in pain, so you're telling me to go and exercise. Why would I want to do that? No. So
yes.
Maybe you can say do some yoga, stretch yourself, just you don't have to do all that hecticness.
So be kind to yourself, depending with what is good for you.
Exactly. Listen, the body is telling you what it can do and what it can do. So listen to it. So be kinder to your body, eat all the right stuff, educate yourself, be your own advocate.
And emotionally, I can, from what you just shared, it might be quite a devastating diagnosis or situation for someone, especially if it also affects maybe their wishes to have children, or this constant pain, and whichever form it takes. How would you say they can deal with that emotional side?
I would say find a tribe, find a group online. There's so many groups. Like in Kenya, there was this Endometriosis Foundation.
Yes.
And there are women who used to share their experiences, so you're not alone. So go online, try and look for these groups. There are so many supportive groups. You might be surprised that you don't know in your country there are actually endometriosis groups. So go online, try and look for those groups. It's a safe space for women suffering with endometriosis, adenomyosis. Women share their experiences so that you can see you're not alone. They tend to support each other, they meet, they console each other. So that's one way. So find your tribe, find your community. The other thing is share. Talk to your friends, talk to your family. If they don't understand, educate them, and they see you, they will know you're clearly in pain. So don't want to deal with it alone, I would say. Just talk to your friends, somebody you trust. Talk to your family. You have to lean on someone. So you can lean on your friends, those people who you feel they really understand you. Don't go to those people who are just like, please, she's always pretending. She just wants attention. You will not get any emotional support. And just know it's not the end of the rope. While it is difficult, it's not the end of the rope. There's always hope, and many women live with endometriosis, and they have learned to manage it. So the feelings, the emotional aspect of it, it's normal. If you want to cry, if you're feeling misunderstood, and you just want to just cry. I mean, yeah, I had my own moments. I had my moments because you're there, you're dying. I was like, what is this period pain? This is not normal. I'm just weeping in pain. I'm on the floor. I'm just feeling like, no, I'm going crazy. So please lean on your community, talk to your friends, and don't be shy also as a human being to be an advocate. When somebody is telling you, you're lying, telling them, why did I lie about this? I know what I'm suffering from. So be your own advocate. And for the emotional part, just know it's not the end of the world. Many women have dealt with it. And if you go to if you join a group and you hear let me just say horror stories. You say you are there thinking you've had it worse. The other women who share and they're like, wow, endometriosis has different forms and it can manifest itself in so many different ways in different women that you're not alone and you can lean on these women. So lean on the community, lean on your tribe, lean on your friends, lean on your family, and just know it can be managed. And
yeah, absolutely. That's very powerful. Like, be your own advocate, like generally be your leader in your life, not only in other aspects, but also in your reproductive health. Don't take just any story for truth. Just also listen to yourself and realize like that there's power in knowledge and educating yourself, and also trusting that what you feel about your body is actually true. It's not just something you make up. There is something going on. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to go so long for it to be diagnosed. I mean, it just doesn't have to take that long. So if you're in pain, please look for a gynecologist who listens to you and who understands and is willing to say, oh yeah, I know it's endometriosis. Yeah, I've had in many women, it takes different forms. So I can see yours is taking this and this form. Let's try doing 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So there are scientific ways of dealing with it, the hormonal shots, and there are also natural ways of dealing with it. So you have options. You don't have to always go the scientific way. If you feel like you don't want to get the injections, there's nothing wrong about it. That's completely fine. There are other natural ways you can manage by eating well and just be more mindful what you put to your body, and just making sure you can fight inflammation by eating right. Basically.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and endometriosis is basically when the blood is not having an outlet, it causes inflammation. So if you eat well, you can fight inflammation and it can go down. So please let no one ever tell you that having a baby or you having a baby now, when you're not ready to have a baby now, will fight your endometriosis. Don't do that. When I remember when I was 19, people were telling me, when you have a baby, then the pain will go away. Okay. I'm only 19. I'm only 19. Let's not say that having a baby at 19 will cure your endometriosis. Yes, it may get better. Or no, it might still be there, or it may even be, the symptoms might even be more. So we don't really know.
That's another myth. Yeah.
Yeah, so for some women, it gets completely better. For others, not really. For others, it gets worse. Okay. But for me, I have a positive thing to say. So after suffering from endometriosis for like the longest time, I personally, when I had my baby, after 2 years, now I went for a check. I did the laparoscopy, and the doctor surprisingly couldn't find those endometriosis tissues. So I didn't go there thinking that that's how it's going to happen. But I think for me, it's sort of like a special gift that my endometriosis has disappeared. But that doesn't mean it has disappeared forever. It has disappeared for now. Given that I have a history with endometriosis, it might manifest itself in the next 2-3 years. I don't know. But for right now, the doctor said I don't have it. So as I said, it's different. So I wouldn't say, oh, go have babies so that your endometriosis is cured. No. So it may get better, it may not. But if you have endometriosis, basically something that you have to live with.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong thing. So, because it's also fed on estrogen. So the tissues grow because of the hormones in our system. So, yeah, I would say my endometriosis has a pause, and I'm happy that it has a pause. I can't speak for the future, but I now know what to do when I feel that
you can manage it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and also it's a myth. I feel it's a myth that when women are told that they have to remove their uterus to cure endometriosis. Why do I say it's a myth? Because the tissues grow outside of the uterus. So yes, you remove the uterus, but the tissues are still in your ovaries, maybe somewhere on your fallopian tubes, or maybe behind the uterus, in your cervix, in your belly button, on your lungs. So yes, you might have removed what you think is the source, but the tissues have already spread. So
you're not really managing the condition.
Exactly. And I met very many women when I joined the support group who said that they'd removed their uterus, but they are still suffering from the pain.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I say, yes, a doctor might recommend something. Educate yourself. Be an advocate of your own health. Don't be willing to say, yes, yeah, the doctor told me they removed my uterus. It's going to cure my symptoms.
Yeah. It's like what I hear you say really is that you need a lot of trust in your own person to manage this in the beginning, because you might not even first know, like, is this doctor well versed in all the options that I have? You might have to try out different things, and that can be scary. That can be sort of overwhelming, and you really want to lean on someone you feel is an expert, which we always think about doctors, right? So finding that balance, but it might not be easy. But what I hear you say, like, if you just listen to yourself and you tell yourself, okay, let me just go with what I feel is the best option for me at this point in time, it will sort of work out.
It always works out. Let's not shut our inner voice when it comes to our reproductive health, how we feel, and all that. So, and yes, I mean, as I said, so many women actually who remove the uterus end up complaining. So I believe endometriosis, though it has been there for years, I feel like in the medical field, it's still not as well researched or as well studied as we think it is. So that's why I say, even you as a person, please try research, do your own research, go discuss with your doctor, get a doctor who tells you the truth. What are the side effects? What are the positives? Not only because for me, I wish then when I got the medicine to suppress the endometriosis, I wish there was other options that I could have been able to take, because I found it to be very aggressive for my system. And I was so convinced I will never do that again. So so I wish there were more options, but there are options now. I was discussing before I did the surgery, there were so many options. So
things have moved forward, but what I also hear is that there's still like
a gap.
A gap in terms of awareness amongst the general population. And that can be very tricky, because what you shared in the beginning is also like, if the people around us don't understand what we are going through, then, someone at work might complain, like, she always misses work, she's lazy, it has an impact on how your options, maybe even your opportunities at work are developing. And that is just one aspect. Or this thing, I remember this pressure of, oh, when are you going to have a child? You're married now, And
God even got me there,
that drives you crazy.
Oh my God, that's I mean, I can imagine, like, I had my own wars with endometriosis and fertility, and you meet people asking you that, and you're looking at them, you're thinking, wow, where do I start? Should I just like lay it on you, like the whole story up to where I am with my hormonal treatment? But that's why I tell people, please, that story of asking people when they're having children, can we just not ask that question? Because you don't know what somebody is going through. And not everyone is going to be vocal about their endometriosis. They know they have their own internal war, but I don't think they're there yet to actually speak about it. So,
so that's an advice for those people around women with endo. I mean, we never know someone's story. It might be endo, it might actually be something else. But this expectation, like, you have a partner, you are a certain age, when are you getting children, can actually be a very, very uncomfortable question to ask for someone. and assumption to make about someone.
Yeah, can you imagine if you're seated in a room and they usually say 1 in 10 women in that room have endometriosis. So if you're a group of women and you're many, can you imagine somebody there is just suffering there with endometriosis and adenomyosis? So it's quite a common phenomenon if you say 1 in 10 have it. But yet I feel like not all gynacs do understand endometriosis. So that's also an assumption. Not every gynecologist understands endometriosis. So it's best to look for a gynecologist who has information on how to manage endometriosis or knows about endometriosis.
Has that experience,
so, exactly, because not all gynecologists know about it. So it's good to look for doctors who understand what we are saying. And also have information on who you can, it's like a boomerang. I've researched, I want to talk to you about this. What are your thoughts? And then discuss and find a better treatment option for you.
Yeah. And so one last question, because we just spoke about also those, common questions that people might ask, like, oh, when are the children coming? Or, these kind of things that women are subjected to, or this thing like, why are you never at work? Like once a month you miss, and this misconception, that might be all about. So what advice do you have for those around women generally? How should they be treating reproductive health topics?
I was reading, that's a very good question. I was reading, is it Spain that already has implemented 3-day off work for women who have
I've also read some
menstruation. And that's also a step to show you that in the work world, if you have a manager, or you can talk to your manager and tell them, I suffer from this condition. And every month, it could be for the entire duration of your cycle you're in pain, or maybe a couple of days. You can tell them, this couple of days, I'll take a couple of days off from work. And when I'm feeling better, I can work from home, but I will not show up at work. I mean, I was lucky I had you. You're very understanding. And also the human resource managers also understanding. So I feel like I would say, if you suffer from endometriosis and during that time of the month, it's really best, please just go to your human resource and explain yourself. And if they don't understand, explain it to them, or get a doctor to write information so that they can actually see it's not a joke. This is actually something that I do suffer from. So I'm sure many employers would probably want to see something written. Get your gyna to write it, because if you cannot work, you just cannot work. People around at the workplace, it's good to know that there are women who suffer from serious period pain. It's not a normal thing. So maybe showing compassion, people being compassionate to your fellow women employees. The thing is, I always say, why are we compassionate to pregnant women? When a pregnant woman says they have severe morning sickness, it's pregnancy, and we show compassion. But when somebody says they have period pain, we don't. So we need to be more compassionate. As I said, the work world, with your human resource, you're a manager anywhere, maybe it's good to be aware that there are women who do suffer from period pain, and it's best to give them days off work to just deal with it, and when they come back, they're fully present. What other question did you ask me?
No, that was really it. Like, what should people around us be doing? How can they support more, or maybe also stop the misconceptions? Because I feel there's just a lack of awareness often, and that's why these questions come, like, now that you got married, when will you have children? Or
stop pretending.
Because people are not really aware. But I have already heard from you, like, compassion is really what it needs, even if we don't fully understand the topic. Just be respectful that the person might have something going on that we don't fully understand.
Be kind to people. It's just that whole concept. Be kind. You don't know what people are going through. So And also with endometriosis, it tends also to have like a mental impact on you. It's only physical, emotional. I mean, it's also a mental thing. You know, pain. How do you manage with pain? You're constantly like, so for endometriosis, for me, I'm lucky. I'm only in pain when I'm on my cycle. But for some women, it's just constant pain every time, constant pain. So that also must have a mental effect on you if you're constantly feeling just in pain, so uncomfortable. You know, so endometriosis, when somebody says they have endometriosis, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily only during their menses that they're in pain, but there are women who are just generally in pain any other time because of the condition. So as I said, just be kind. Don't assume people are lying. There's a reason why somebody is saying, really uncomfortable. So be kind, be compassionate as an employer. When someone comes to you and say they have endometriosis and they really have strong period pain, other than telling them to go see a doctor, I don't know why you would tell me that. But rather, if they ask for a day off in a month so that they can stay home and just get through the process, then be compassionate and grant it. And that is not, you shouldn't even be an off date. It's a sick leave. Yeah. Because you actually sick. It's not like you actually sick. So empathy, compassion, understanding goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh, that was quite a journey.
Yeah, it was quite a journey.
But thank you so much for sharing all the insights, all the knowledge also that you have. I feel people watching this video, either if they have the condition or they maybe know someone or they have never really known about it, they will learn a lot. And also this, what I hear so strongly from you is like, be your own advocate. And be in control of the situation by taking charge and by demanding that you have those choices and that you make those decisions, not someone else. And also for people around women to just have that compassion and that kindness, and also the respect to say this is not something this person makes up, but this is actually, you know, truth.
Real, And you can also join groups where you feel there are other women going through what you're going through. You can learn something, you can share, you can upload whatever you feel that people are not understanding. So look for support
for that outlet.
Outlet. It's good. And people we used to meet and just be able to share our experiences. So it's also one.
So thank you so much. I'll let you go now. After giving us all that wealth of information and also like empowerment, I would say.
It was really my pleasure.
Thank you, and speak soon.
Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.